Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donahue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donahue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. We're the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. Today is a special episode because we're covering fictional creeps. They're not real life creeps, but these are creeps in movies that you're supposed to be rooting for. They're supposed to be the protagonist, but they're really the asshole.
This one's going to be light.
Fun and light.
Yes.
Every once in a while, we just have to have a really fun and light one. Nothing heavy. The world is a garbage pile right now. Let's just enjoy something light. I also want to give an early Happy Canada Day shout out to our Canadian listeners. Y'all.
Happy Canada. Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada. Blame Canada. Yes. July 1st is that's on Monday is Canada Day. You can find us at What a Creep Podcast. We have a basic Facebook page. We don't really check that. That's where people go to complain about our language. You heard me say asshole a minute ago. We're going to say that probably a lot today. So if you don't want to listen to this with kids in the room or you're at work, just to keep that in mind. We're much more interactive in our private Facebook group, and it's What a Creep Podcast group. And you do have to ask to join. You have to promise not to be an asshole. And if you do all those things, you can come in and join us. And it's a really nice, safe, wonderful space on Facebook, which we didn't think we could do.
The only reason I go to Facebook is to interact in our group.
We're on Twitter at CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep for 10 years and never used it.
Great.
And we're on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at What a Creep Podcast. And we have an old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And if you would like some stickers, we will send you stickers. I sent some to Dublin, Ireland.
Cute.
And they're so cute. So use the email to send us your address and we will get them to you in the mail. Sonia, do you want to tell them about the website?
Yeah, go to whatacreeppodcast.com and it's everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast, but we're afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, but you can go there and find all of our stuff. You can click into each of those episodes and it'll open up. It's a blog post and it has sources for all of our creeps because we source everything we do. This episode's a little different. I don't really have sources unless you consider the movies the sources, maybe. But anyway, you could do that. And if you're looking for a deeper dive on any of our creeps, that's a fabulous place to start. We want to give credit to the writers that did the work. So that's a great place to do that. We also have a link to our merch shop where you can get t-shirts and tote bags and face masks because the pandemic is still a thing. And there's a link to our Patreon. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, Patreon. We have our first 8 seasons on the Patreon wall. I want to thank Luna and Shannon for joining Patreon this past week. We also put out 2 bonus episodes a month. Next week, we should just warn you ahead of time, we're going to take the week off because it's Canada Day and it's also July 4th here in America. So it's a whole week is kind of nobody does anything in America. Right. It's North America is just out of business next week. So.
Being patriotic is a full-time job, yo. We take the week off.
If you're in the Facebook group and there's an episode you want us to replay or that you think is on the Patreon wall, let us know. Maybe we'll replay that next week. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You're so smart.
Oh, thank you. Also, we just want to let you know, that's a great way to support our show. Another way to support our show is seriously to leave us reviews in Apple Podcasts or Podbean or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And we want to say a thank you to West Edgeware for leaving us a 5-star review. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And just so you know, we always end the episode with someone who's not a creep. So I have some people who are a few villains in movies that are actually, I don't think, are real villains.
You are so clever.
What? Yeah.
I am fascinated. I can't wait to hear who's on your list.
Well, they're graded on a curve, just so you know, just to warn you ahead of time. We're talking about fiction here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and also the Substack, if you want to sign up for that, it's What a Creep Podcast.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay. Sonia.
I should actually take what I've written here and maybe I'll put it in the Substack
Hey-yo.
or something. I think people would like that. So.
Hey-yo.
Hey-yo.
I'm into
Sometimes
that.
I have good ideas. Okay.
Sonia.
So y'all.
Let's do it.
Okay. Y'all, everything feels like a lot right now. Political rhetoric up to 11 here in the United States. Supreme Court's dropping decisions left and right. Everything's overwhelming, a little scary. So I thought I would do something fun this week, and we're going to talk about fictional creeps, more specifically characters who you don't think of as creeps at first. We think maybe they're the heroes. And then you watch the movie again and you're like, that person sucks.
There is
So-
zero.
Yeah, they're a zero. They're not a hero. They're a zero. So as we talk about on Dorking Out all the time, like the movies don't change, we do. So these movies haven't changed, but the times have changed and we have changed. And some of the shit just doesn't age well. Or maybe it was never supposed to be okay. And for whatever reason, it just was. So I put together a list of movie characters who we're supposed to like, but in fact, they're assholes. And even worse, they're real fucking creeps. Not all of them are real fucking creeps, but you know what I mean. So, and if you think of some that I didn't name, please put them in our Facebook group because I think that would be really, really fun. So my inspiration for this, by the way, there's no sources because these are all just movies.
This is all, it's Sonia's opinion. And I
It's
don't know
my
what she's
opinion.
going to pick, by the way.
Yes. You already know I was going to pick this one, though, because this was the inspiration, was Danny Zuko from Grease. Now, I love Grease.
I love John Travolta.
Grease. And we love John Travolta. I've watched Grease a million times. Danny Zuko sucks. I still love it. I still will watch Grease right now. I'll watch Grease 2. I probably love that one even more. Like, I'm a Grease 2 apologist. We exist. I love Grease 2. But as I got older, I realized Danny Zuko is no prize. First of all, he meets Sandy at the beach. He's very kind. He's very romantic. Is that the real Danny? Is he lying to her? I don't know. He tells all the guys at school what he did that summer, and he lies about her in the very famous Summer Nights song. They made out under the dock. You know, all
They
the
stayed
other
out
things.
till 10 o'clock,
Till 10
Sonia.
o'clock. Well, that's what she's telling the like sweet, innocent version. And he's like, we got down in the sand.
I
Like, he's-
finger blasted her.
yes, he's totally like lying. He's telling all of his friends that he got all this nookie and they didn't. Then she shows up at the school. She runs into him. He's a total dick to her. Huge dick to her in front of his friends and her friends. You know how it is, baby, rocking and rolling and whatnot. And when she's like, what happened to the Danny Zuko I met at the beach? He's like, I don't know. Try the yellow pages. Like, maybe there's two of us. He's so shitty to her. And she, you know, cries and runs away. And she's so sweet. And then, side note, he also sings a whole song about how fixing up a car and turning it into a pussy wagon that'll make all the chicks cream. It's really gross.
It's called Grease Lightning, by the way.
Grease lightning. Yes. He's such a dick to her. But and she finally meets somebody at the school that isn't a dick to her, and he interferes and like woos her away from him. He gets her to like go to the school dance with him. The school dance is going to be on national television, by the way, because that happens. And they're all dancing and they're going to win the contest. And here they come and they're dancing. And then he ditches her for Cha-Cha, who's the best dancer at St. Bernadette's with the worst reputation. So then he embarrasses Sandy on national television now. He ditches her in front of everybody to dance with Cha-Cha, and her boobs are all out and like it's like really aggressive.
They're doing the hand jive.
They're doing the hand
What do
jive.
you think that means, by the
Yeah,
way?
hey-o.
Hey-o.
Again, like she forgives him again for acting like an asshole. And she goes to the drive-in with him.
Stranded at a drive-in.
Yes. Where he
He's gonna
then
sing throughout this episode. I'm sorry.
then you're fine. Then She's already forgiven him twice now. They go to the drive-in where he again tries to date rape her, basically. He tries to sexually assault her in the car, and she like runs away from him. And then he sings a song about how he's the victim. Like, oh, Sandy, like, he doesn't know what he's done. You just tried to sexually assault her in the drive-in. Like,
He has blue balls, Sonia. That's the thing.
poor baby, poor baby. So then we get to the end of the movie, and he's like, I'm going to win her back by wearing this Letterman sweater, basically. It's like, that'll do it. Like, you're both graduating from high school. Nothing hotter than a person who doesn't go to school anymore wearing their Letterman's jacket, but whatever. So he's wearing his Letterman sweater, and he's like, I'm going to win her back. But instead, he didn't even have to try that hard because she decides to change for him. She changes for him, and he's like, yeah, fuck this sweater, and takes it off, and, you know, you're the one that I want. Ooh, 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 you know, and what a creep. He's a creep the whole movie. Actually, all of them are. All of the dudes are creeps in this movie.
Kaneki.
Except, yeah,
Dewey.
Kaneki's a huge, they're all huge creeps. I mean, even Vince Fontaine, he tries to drug a teenage girl.
Oh my God, that's right.
They're huge creep. The only one's not a creep are the guy who's going out with Jan, who like really likes her, and
Frenchie,
like,
of course.
yeah, and Frenchie's not a creep.
Frenchie's the best.
But anyway, Danny Zuko is a total creep.
I'm with you on that.
Another movie that's filled with creeps, but I'm just going to pick one. We could talk about Billy from St. Elmo's Fire. So again, we could talk about every character in this movie. I could do a whole segment about Emilio Estevez's character who's stalking a woman the whole time, and it's played for laughs. Andrew McCarthy's character, also basic. He thinks he owns Ali Sheedy after they have
he
sex.
Likes her. Don't you know that?
Because he likes her, so now she belongs to him. That's just the way it is. Alec is a huge, played by Judd Nelson, also a huge fucking creep who cheats on his girlfriend and is mad that she won't marry him. And then
they're 23, by the way.
yeah, he continues to be horrible to her, lie to her, throw things, and get angry in front of her. And then is like, why won't she take me back? Like, what a creep. But the king of all of them is Billy, played by Rob Lowe, and we're supposed to like him because he's Rob Lowe, and he is very handsome. Like,
He's always going to be hot.
Yeah. So the movie opens with Billy driving Wendy's new car. That's Mare Winningham. He's drunk. He gets into an accident. He injures Wendy. He's like flirting with the nurses. She's worried about Billy, but what about Billy? Is Billy okay? I hope he's okay. And Billy, meanwhile, is like playing his saxophone for like nurses, and again, drunk driving. His friends bail him out, you know, and promptly take him to a bar for more drinks because they're all the worst. They've all gotten him jobs at some point that he continues to blow off because he is an irresponsible prick. He's married. Did I mention that he's married? He's married, y'all.
With a kid.
With a kid. He has a very young daughter. He's constantly cheating on his wife. But when she steps out with someone else, he loses his fucking shit and gets into a fight, a physical altercation with her male person, the man she went on a date with. He knows that Wendy is in love with him. He's always taking money from her. He randomly makes out with her to like lead her on that they are going to be more than they are. And he always asks her about her virginity, which is really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
That's like not your business, dude. There is also a scene where like Jules, that's Demi Moore, whose wardrobe Margot and I both covet in this movie. Like, yeah, she's very troubled. She has a lot going on in her life, and she's driving him home. And she's trying to talk to him, and he repays her by trying to sexually assault her, which again is kind of played for laughs in this movie. It's not funny. She like pushes him out of the car. All of this happens in front of his house. His wife can overhear all of it. Pretty cool. normal stuff. So the end of the movie, his redemption, by the way, is that he decides to leave his family because they're going to be better off without him.
He's probably right about that, though.
Probably. He asks if he can have Wendy's virginity, like as a fucking going away present, which she then gives him. She's more than happy to fuck him.
Oh, Jesus. I forgot that part.
And even though he tried to sexually assault one of her best friends. Fuck Billy. He's a creep. Shame on him.
We talked about this for Dorking Out, by the way.
Yes.
St. Elmo's Fired. It's one of our most popular episodes.
Yes. Like if you're itching to watch the Bratz documentary and then go listen to us talk about St. Elmo's Fire. We had so much fun talking about that one. You brought this one to my attention. Anna Scott from Notting Hill. Played by Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts' charm is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this movie because her character is insufferable. So, normal person, Hugh Grant, Will, he's playing Will. He meets this actress, famous actress. She's Julia Roberts, basically, but her name is Anna Scott. She invites him to meet at her hotel for tea or something, but it turns out she's actually in the middle of a press junket, which he then has to pretend to be a reporter to see her. And I'm like, why does she do that?
This movie infuriates me. I know people love it, but yeah. Keep going.
It's okay if people want to love it.
Yeah, love what you want.
So the scene that has always stood out to me, though, is she goes to dinner with Will and his normal friends. And there's like one brownie on the table, and they're all going to talk about how pitiful their lives are so they can win this like pity brownie, basically. And she talks about how her life is so hard as a world famous movie star. She's so rich and so beautiful. Her life is really hard. She has no privacy. Meanwhile, there's a woman in a wheelchair who can't have kids at the table. But do go on.
Please do go on.
About how
like
hard your life is. Rich and beautiful and have the world on a fucking silver platter and go out with dudes who look like Hugh Grant. And yes, you're right. Enjoy that brownie. Like, she's very clueless. She also doesn't tell Will that she has a boyfriend.
This scene infuriated me.
Which is so shitty. So, like, he goes to her hotel and it turns out she has a boyfriend that she didn't tell him about. So then he pretends to be a hotel employee. There's a lot of pretending for Will here. And then which is so shitty. Like, even if she wasn't like a huge movie star, if this was just a woman he was dating who then had a boyfriend, he should have been like, fuck you. Like,
she screams at him too.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? I have a boyfriend. Don't you get it? And he's like, no, you're the one that's been hitting on me. Like,
yes.
I can't.
And then like a whole media shitstorm happens and he takes her in, helps her hide from the media. Because he's so in love with her because she's Julia Roberts. And like, there's no logical reason for why he would like her, but whatever, you have to let it go. But then when like shit goes wrong, like I think the roommate accidentally reveals that she's there. The roommate's kind of a doofus. Like it wasn't even ill-intended. It was a mistake. She instantly blames Will for what goes wrong. And then he goes to the set, her movie set, to apologize to her.
Right.
That she doesn't deserve, by the way. And she overhears like a whole conversation between her and a co-star where she's like, he's no one. She just shit talks him to this co-star. And she says like, you know, well, he's a busybody and I was just trying, whatever. It was still super hurtful. And then it ends with like her giving him this like, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy speech. But it still ends with like him chasing her down and apologizing to her again for shit that's not his fault.
He even reminds her at one point, like she's yelling and screaming at him and having a meltdown. He's like, Do you not understand? Like, I have a friend that all of a sudden was in an accident, is now in a wheelchair and doesn't complain, but you can't stop complaining.
Yes.
Yeah, she plays
Again.
That's her. It's her charisma, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Similar. Let's talk about the kid in Purple Rain. Look, I take no pleasure in this. I love Purple Rain. We did an episode on Dorking Out about Purple Rain.
I think it's the 40th anniversary this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. The music is amazing.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater
We're
a
that
million
old.
times. I've watched it on cable a million times. I own Purple Rain. Like, we all love Purple Rain. And Prince is so good that we pretend that he's not playing a total fucking creep in this movie. Like, I love the soundtrack, but he's an insufferable creep. He's abusive. He's egocentric. He's terrible. He's such a creep in this movie that we all leave the movie loving Morris Day, and that character throws a woman in a dumpster. Like,
Did
That's
they do the
how much-
bird or Jungle Love in the movie? I forget which
he
one.
does both.
Oh,
They're both in the
God,
movie.
I love Morris
Jungle
Day.
Love. That song is fucking dope.
That stuff, like an oak tree. Remember that? That was like
Oh, yeah.
oak tree.
I love it. So let's, first of all, like, the kid, he refuses to like acknowledge that he's like in a band where he might need to like collaborate with his band.
And he has Wendy and Lisa, by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, he refuses to work on new music with Wendy and Lisa. He's the only one in the band has any talent, and they're just there to back up whatever the fuck the kid wants to do. Turns them down without even listening to it. And then, like, by the way, when he finally does decide to work with them, they make Purple Rain, and it's like the best fucking song on the soundtrack. Like, you're lucky. He's also such a prick that the nightclub manager hates him. Like, he's clearly...
And it's Prince playing your club, by the way. Like, it's a pretty good show. People show up for it.
Yeah. He's the reason that they're thinking about, like, replacing people, because he sucks so bad. So he sees Apollonia. She's gorgeous, by the way. And, like, he's, like, super, like, he stands, like, uncomfortably close behind her. He's got his sunglasses on, like a creeper. And, like, later she, like, he's talking to her, and, like, she, like, wants to make it as a singer. And he's like, oh, is that what turns you on? It's like, isn't that what turns you on, dude? You're
Exactly.
performing at this fucking club. Like, he's so shitty to her. Like, I know everyone loves the scene, but he tells her to, like, purify herself in Lake Minnetonka and takes
So
her to a
fucked up.
lake, and she gets naked and does it. And he's like, that's not Lake Minnetonka.
And it's freezing outside. And she's wearing leather pants. Like, she has
Yeah.
to put that shit back on when it's wet. Leather pants
Yeah,
are
and then
not
he-
your friend when it's wet.
No.
When your legs are wet.
And he keeps, like, riding off every time she tries to get on the motor. He's so shitty to her all the time. And, like, it just happens repeatedly. So then she sleeps with him anyway, because of course she does.
Because it's Prince,
Because it's Prince, you know? And even though, now, keep in mind, she's poor. She's living in, like, a shitty hotel. She sells her, like, one thing that she's got, this very fancy anklet. And she buys him his dream guitar. And then a few minutes later, she's like, I think I'm going to join this girl group. And he hits her.
Oh, my God. That's right.
He hits her and says, Apollonia, don't I make you happy? Don't you like the way we are? Not right now, asshole. I just gave you an amazing gift and you hit me. You repaid me with a knuckle sandwich. Like, no, I don't like the way we are right now. He's a singer. It's okay for him to be ambitious.
No, but she can't be. No.
No.
He
Can get on stage and be as sexual as he wants, but if she does it, it's a fucking problem. He, like, also, like, at one point, like, he roughs her up. He, like, shakes her and stuff because he was telling her not to drink. It's like, you're not the fucking boss of her. You don't get to control her. but he like holds back from hitting her this time because he's, you know, a
He's
real
evolving.
yeah, he's a real fucking gem. He like throws her to the ground. She's in like the worst part of town. It's really shitty. And again, like finally he learns a lesson by using Wendy and Lisa's music to make Purple Rain. It's like, okay. And then he gets the girl back because he performed other music that wasn't originally his. It's very confusing. He's a real creep. If you
Agreed.
meet a kid, in real life, fucking run.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Lewis from Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, I was just gonna say I saw that the same year, 84. We talked about this for this movie, by the way.
Yes. And by the way, there are things that are very funny in Revenge of the Nerds.
Booger holds up, man. Everything with
holds up.
Booger is great.
Yeah, there's some stuff in Revenge of the Nerds that's very funny, and it was one of the first movies to do the whole like being a nerd is cool kind of thing. So there are things to like. But Lewis he's a creep. So he asks out a girl on campus who's way out of his league, but you do you. And she rejects him. So he gets revenge with the other nerds by installing hidden cameras in their sorority where they then spy on them, showering and changing and being naked. They watch it for days at a time.
And there's a kid in the room when they're watching
There's a kid,
Yes,
by the way,
remember?
yes.
Yeah, that's called
Yeah.
revenge porn.
Yeah, it's that shit's illegal. They also like take nude photos from those videos and then hand it out around
They
campus.
make pies, and it's just a whipped
Yes.
cream pie.
Yeah.
Ogre's like, it's just a pie. Oh, that's why.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. And it's a naked
Betty.
picture of the girl who he asked out, and she said no.
She has a boyfriend, Stan, and he's a douchebag, and they're not
Yeah.
great to the nerds, but like this is not. No,
That's
it's great when he
fucked up.
puts the heat sauce in the jocks. That's great.
Yeah.
That's old fashioned bullying.
Dir-
Yes.
Yeah, direct your revenge appropriately,
Yes.
my friend. This is not that. And then, of course, the huge thing is that ultimately Lewis really is a rapist. Like, he steals a costume from Betty, that's the girl. He steals the costume of her boyfriend, pretends to be him, has sex with her. And then after he's done having sex with her, he reveals himself and she doesn't get mad. She's like, oh, you're so good at this.
They're in like a bouncy house or something, like
Yes.
a haunted house, and like nobody walks in. Like he's just
No.
no.
Want to do it on the moon? And he's like, mm-hmm.
He's
And then
Darth Vader.
Yeah, and then he reveals himself, and she's like, "When did you get so good at this?" It's like he
How could
just
it have been?
sexually assaulted you.
But how could it? I mean, I don't. How could it have? Good could it have been? I mean, it was just like I don't know.
I don't know, but Lewis does not age well, my friends.
Right.
When you go back and watch Revenge of the Nerds, I put together another like smaller, quick hits
Oh,
for
please.
everybody too. So we've got our dude Jake Ryan from 16 Candles. We're going to do this one on Dorking Out eventually, but he basically hands his drunk, passed out girlfriend to a total stranger and says, "Do whatever you want."
And who's a
She's
child?
so out of it. Yeah, he's a child, by the way. He's not even 16. He's 15. And he says, like, do whatever you want. She's so out of it, she won't know the difference. That's pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up, dude. This one's a little controversial, but how about Charlie's grandpa from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Ooh,
Pretends to be bedridden for like 20 years. But the second that golden ticket comes out, dude all of a sudden can walk. He's like dancing and shit. Like, what the fuck? Not cool, dude. Not cool. Seems creepy. Sorry. Mark in Love Actually, who waits
Everybody
till
in Love
after.
Actually.
He pretty much everybody in Love Actually. He decides to make a play for his best friend's brand new fucking wife on Christmas, like you do. Like a good friend. By the way, Margot did an epic episode of Love Actually for F This Movie. We did one for Dorking Out as well, but
Yeah.
your one But your one on F this movie was really, really funny. Both of them are funny
Yes.
in different ways. But I remember your Love Actually on F this movie being like really, really funny. We also talked about this one. Anne Hathaway's boyfriend, Nate, in The Devil Wears Prada. Fuck that guy. Seriously, fuck that guy. What a creep. She's so supportive of him. She just needs him to suck it up for a year while she works this internship. And the minute, like, he's not priority number one, fucking folds. Like,
Yeah.
falls apart like a house of cards. Her friends, too.
But
They
he's
loved
the
all the
worst.
free shit. Yeah, but he's the worst. They love all the free shit they get from her job. But the minute it's like, hey, I have to, like, work, they're like, how dare you? How dare you? This one might also be controversial, but Van Goldman in The Birdcage, the son,
The son. Oh my God.
who asks his gay fathers to pretend to be straight to impress his new conservative potential
Is
in-laws.
it Val?
Yeah.
Val is the worst.
Val. Is it Val?
Val.
Sorry, it is Val. I
Val
called him
is the
Van.
worst.
My apologies.
He's like, what, 19, 20 years old? And
Yeah.
he demands that he's going to marry his girlfriend and they all have to lie to make it happen. Like, because that's
Yes.
a great way to start a relationship.
Yes.
To his dad and his partner, who've been together for 2 decades, and they both raised him with
Yes.
an immense amount of love.
It is so
And
hurtful.
he's so embarrassed by them that he wants
Yeah.
them to lie to everybody. And he kicks
Yes.
Nathan out, his mother
Yes.
kicks her out. He's an asshole.
Such an asshole. We love that movie, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's a
Like,
great movie, but yeah, Val's
but
the
like
worst.
he's such an asshole. And this person is not, she's kind of a movie character, but she's mainly a TV character, and that's Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City.
Oh, good.
I made just a quick list. Let's talk about how she cheats on adorable Aiden with Mr. Big. And then Aiden finds out and he stays with her anyway. While having that affair with Mr. Big, she causes his wife to fall down the stairs and she gets badly hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's on fucking Carrie. There's a whole thing where like Miranda gets hurt in the shower and she's naked and she calls Carrie to like come and help her and she sends Aiden. That's being a bad friend.
Why did she send Aiden? I don't remember.
Because she is selfish. Like she was like, I'm busy doing something else. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of her assholeness, by the way, she's not always a very good friend.
No, she's
Let me just-
terrible. Remember the time when she owed all that? They were selling her apartment and she had like
Yes.
$500 in her bank account. Do you have that in there?
Yeah, but yes.
And
Yeah,
she-
but go on.
But she asks, she's basically, they're all like, oh, we'll lend you the money for an apartment in New York, which is a shitload of money. And Charlotte, who's divorced now from her rich ex-husband.
Yes.
So Carrie's like, well, you're rich. Give me the money. And Charlotte's like, it's not my responsibility
Yes.
to take care of you. Like, this is your problem. I mean, and Carrie's like so pissed at her for that.
Yes.
I know.
She has like $500 in her account. By the way, she's a freelance columnist. The fact that she has as many designer shoes as she does is
It's absurd.
not realistic. But also, sell those fucking shoes.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, so she has all this financial trouble, and then she basically demands that Charlotte sell her engagement ring to bail her out of her own shit. So shitty. There's also this whole thing where like, because Aiden has taken her back, and like they go to like Aiden's cabin in the middle of the woods to like get
Suffern,
away.
New York.
Yeah, and she's like so shitty about it already. And like, bitch, you just shouldn't have gone. Like, but anyway, she acts like a bitch the whole time she's there. And Mr. Big follows her there because he's a fucking prick. He could be on this list. He definitely should be on this list. I apologize. Put him on this list too. And instead of telling him to leave, like she fucking invites him in and lets him like stay for dinner. This is the man that cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And like Aiden is like really upset the whole time. It's really fucked up. She is a miserable, miserable person.
A terrible friend.
She's so shitty to Samantha. I don't watch the new one because they don't have Samantha in it. But like the
I
things
hate
that
watch
they're
it.
like the fact that they're not really friends anymore kind of tracks if you go back and watch these old episodes. She's really judgy to Samantha.
She says, okay, so you don't know this. They did the first episode of the first season because Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker hate each other. And Kim Cattrall wanted more money and stuff, whatever. So Carrie, because Cattrall's character is a PR person, and she's Carrie's publicist for her book. But Carrie's like, well, I hired her to be my publicist, but I'm not selling many books as I used to, and I'm not a bank. And Carrie is so fucking wealthy because she's married to Big, and they have this huge apartment in Manhattan, and they have like, she could shit money. I swear to God, she has so much money, but she's going to like cut off a friend and make her seem like she's greedy when that friend was going to lend her money for her apartment just a few years before. Like,
it's so shitty.
It's so shitty.
I can't even watch now.
No,
like,
it's pretty bad. But I watch it, but they're bad.
Yeah, I did see both the movies, and like, I used to love the show, but now I watch it and I'm like, ugh, all they talk about is dick, which is fine. Like, it was fine for me, for younger me, but older me is like, you ladies should try decentering men from your life.
Right. And see how that works for
the
you.
show hasn't changed.
Right.
I've changed. It's okay. So that's our list of fictional creeps.
I love it, Sonia. And if y'all have ideas, please let us know with all those places we mentioned at the top of the show. Do you want to hear my takes on people that are supposed to be evil?
I can't wait.
Okay. Going back to The Devil Wears Prada, Miranda Priestley.
Yeah.
In the book, which is, we did a book versus movie about it. That's the other podcast I have, and it's like movie by a country mile. Because in the book, Miranda is just an asshole. I mean, there's no. It's supposed to be about Anna Wintour from Vogue, and this is all a very 2000s kind of thing. Like, she's a very famous editor. She was very powerful at the time. She was I used to work at Condé Nast. She was notoriously tough on her assistants. She also is someone that runs a brand that's worth like $1 billion. Like.
Right.
She has a lot on her plate, and she's, once again, a very ambitious person. She's somebody who's very decisive, and she has, like I said, just a lot on her plate. There's a lot that she's responsible for, and there's a lot of people who, earn their living in the fashion industry. So, like, I'm sorry, what is Anne's character in?
Did I write down her name? I think I just referred to her as Anne Hathaway. I'll look it up right there.
Yeah, so Anne Hathaway plays a character that she wants to work for the New Yorker, but instead she has to work for Vogue, and it's like, asshole.
Poor baby.
I know, and it's for
Andy. Her name is Andy.
Andy it's her first job in publishing. She's like, it's for a huge publication. You're going to learn so much, and her friends just give her a hard time. Miranda, I mean, okay, the whole scene where Miranda is upset about her not getting a plane for her in the middle of a hurricane, not great, but she doesn't get fired for it. I'm also like, I have my own trauma and damage from working at Condé Nast. Miranda's not the worst. They call her Nuclear Winter. That was like for Anna Wintour, but in the movie, they make her a little bit more relatable because she has a husband that their relationship isn't great. She has daughters that she really cares about. I mean, she's just doing a lot. They make her more nuanced.
Well, and it's a woman running a big business like that you kind of have to harden yourself a little bit. And
yes,
I mean, some of it you're like, come on now. But in general.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... It's a big job, and there's a lot that's at stake, and she's just trying to do anyway. And Meryl Streep, it's also just Meryl Streep being amazing.
Yes,
you can't really just hate. And somebody just dressed up as Miranda Priestley for a fashion show over in Europe. I saw that it was a drag queen.
Amazing,
and it's amazing. Okay, our next character, Professor Severus Snape.
Yes,
played by Alan Rickman.
Yes.
So Harry Potter and Snape, they don't get along. I mean, Harry knows like from the beginning that Snape is kind of an asshole for sure.
Yeah, he's gruff.
He's gruff. He pater. Yeah, he doesn't. He gives the kid a hard time. But as we go through the series that is written by someone who will definitely be on our list, is on our list. And we'll cover
Definitely
her
on
one
our
day.
list.
She's just not done being an asshole. She kind of doubles and triples down lately
Yeah.
with her anti-trans
It's
bullshit.
at some point we're gonna have to be like, okay, it's time to talk about.
And it might be
her,
multiple
but-
episodes, frankly,
Yeah.
because there's just so much to go on there. But anyway,
Right.
when she provides the backstory, it turns out that Harry's parents were kind of dicks. They met when they were young, and he was in class with them, and he had a crush on Lily, who's Harry's father.
Yeah.
And his
I think
father,
Lily was sweet. It was the dad that was always
James,
kind
his
of
dad.
Yeah,
Yes,
he bullied.
he bullied Snape. And Snape was somebody who was very insecure, and it was just like a lot of bullying and all that shit. And in the end, he's somebody that's there for Potter.
Yeah.
It's at the very, very end, but it's Alan Rickman being amazing
Yes.
and just really like owning a part.
He is so good in that. I've recently been rewatching those movies with my son, and he is very, very good
Yeah.
in that movie. Like,
I saw somewhere that somebody had a reel, and it was just all the Snape scenes like in order, and it's like amazing, like just the arc of them.
yeah.
All right, we
So
have
good.
one more, Sonia.
Okay.
The Cobra Kai. Johnny Lawrence, played by William Zabka. In the movie The Karate Kid, also from '84.
Oh, my God. So many 84s. These movies are iconic.
So Johnny is cruel to Daniel. Daniel comes from New Jersey. He moves to California with his single mom. They live in an apartment building. They don't have a lot of money. He goes to a school where there's kids with a ton of money. And sorry, there's like a moth in my apartment. I think
Oh!
I think it went into my mouth. Anyway,
Ew.
I know. I'm trying.
Get out!
Ew, get out! Okay, it's not here anymore. Okay, so he's in a dojo, and it's the Cobra Kai, and he has a sensei who's like a real dick, and has these boys basically pick on Daniel, and they all beat up Daniel, and that's not good, obviously.
Nope.
And Daniel has to learn from Mr. Miyagi. He learns karate, and then they go to the big championship. And he so Johnny likes Allie Mills, but they break up, and she starts dating him, Daniel. And so that's his big thing. He's pissed about losing Allie.
Right.
Once again, it's male entitlement of, well,
Yes.
I want you, so you belong
and
to me.
and she's Elizabeth Shue. She's adorable.
Everybody should fight over her. I get that. I understand. But his sensei is John Kreese, and he's what we learned from. And at the very end of the movie, by the way, just to spoil a 40-year-old movie, Daniel does the crane kick,
Yeah.
and he wins the trophy. And who gives him the trophy? Johnny.
William. Yeah. Because he earned it.
Because he earned it. And he says, "You're okay, LaRusso." And LaRusso says, "Thanks." So we go to Karate Kid 2. And the sensei is smacking the shit out of the kids. We don't see it. We hear it. And you realize, like, this guy's really fucked up.
Yeah.
So then
He's
we go
abusive.
to the Cobra Kai on Netflix. And I don't know if you watched that or not.
I've watched the first season,
Okay.
maybe the second. I forget. I
It's-
have watched it, though.
It's really fun. And what they do is they give a backstory to Daniel and Johnny. And in the future, what happens is Daniel has a car business. He sells cars, and he's really successful. And he has like Mr. Miyagi's trees everywhere. And then William Zabka is a guy that, like, Johnny, it turns out, he grew up also grew up poor. And he grew up, his father left and his mother remarried, and he had a stepfather that was really mean and gave him a hard time and heckled him and treated him really bad. And what happened was that he discovered this dojo, the Cobra Kai.
Yeah. He picked the wrong Mr. Miyagi, if you will.
He did. So John Kreese, turns out John was somebody who he served in Vietnam and had some trauma from that, or trauma, as Jamie Lee Curtis would pronounce it. And he's teaching these kids. And there's an excellent show, and I think it's in the second season, where they get the original actors that played the Cobra Kai, like, put them in a body bag.
Yeah.
Those guys. They came back and played themselves, those
That's
characters,
amazing.
which
It's
is
amazing.
amazing. And what happens is that they all meet up and they start talking, and Johnny brings this guy back into his life, the Cobra Kai instructor, the dojo, the sensei.
Mm-hmm.
He brings the sensei back, and he's helping him because the guy's having a hard time, and he's helping him run another dojo. And the friends come back, and they're having a reunion, and they're like, why are you helping this guy? He treated us like shit. He made us into bullies. He completely was toxic. It took us all, like, we didn't have any friends except for each other. We were horrible to everybody. It took years to get him out of our system and get over that bullshit. Like, they really realized, like, they were bad and they were taught bad things and they were trying to get through it. So they're actually kind of having this full circle kind of moment. You see, like, where they originally come from. And Daniel's kind of a dick in the TV series. He's smug.
Yes.
And he has a Ralph Macchio, I love you, but that hair's we got to do something about the hair. It's a little Gumby-ish. But anyway, those are my people that are supposed to be creeps in movies, but I see some humanity there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, those are really good ones. Good job, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Okay, everybody, if you like the sound of our voices, we've mentioned it like 10 times in the show already, but we co-host a show called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. Sonia, what are we going to be dorking out about next?
We are going to talk about Foul Play, starring Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn. She's Burgess Meredith. This one's going to be super fun. It's very weird and wacky.
It's 1978, San Francisco.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. Somebody in our What a Creep group was asking if this is... they were mixing it up with Seems Like Old Times, which I think came out like a year or two after. Maybe we'll do that one eventually, but we're going to start with this. And our episode out right now is about Presumed Innocent.
Right.
The 1990 movie with Harrison Ford. We were inspired, and Brian Dennehy. Mm-hmm.
That's our old man crush, R.I.P.
Yeah, we were inspired by the Apple Plus miniseries. So if you're looking for spoilers for, again, a movie that's 34, 35 years old... Go listen to that. It's fun.
If you have suggestions for creeps and non-creeps, please send them to us at all those places I mentioned at the top of the show. We love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters, or Be Original. Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky and TikTok, all Threads, all the places. Where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me at brooklynfitchick.com. I'm at brooklynfitchick for Threads and Instagram. I'm at Brooklyn Margot for TikTok and for Twitter. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. We're taking next week off. Happy Canada Day. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Be safe. Be cool. Dublin, Ireland, I wish I could send you heat. Apparently, you're freezing. I would love to send you some from here. In the meantime, everybody, be safe, be cool, be kind. Just don't be a creep.
Be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.